Candid Conversations with Kemar.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Candid Conversations with Kemar, episode 3. Just want to thank you guys for listening so far to the podcast. Like I do each and every time, just know it's greatly appreciated. So today I have with me, still via remote recording because of the lockdown and all of that. So just bear with us and the challenges, if there are any, during this episode. But I do apologize in advance for that. I have with me my friend Eloise, but we're gonna call her Elle for the podcast. Done nice, short, and sweet. So Elle is one of my longtime friends. We've known each other for quite some time now. And originally when I pitched the podcast idea, she's one of the persons I would have approached to come onto the podcast to speak about travel because Elle is a travelholic. She lives for traveling. She's not doing well right now, and she needs the support. So we're here to have a conversation about travel, not being able to travel during the pandemic. Well, some people are still traveling, but she would have made the decision not to travel. We're going to get some tips and tricks how not to, break the bank when going on vacation, to have an enjoyable time without spending so much money. So that is what this episode is basically going to be about. So I hope that my friends are listening because we have trips to take in the future. So take note, guys, pull up the notepads and let's get some notations happening. But before we move into the conversation, I want to take some time to shout out from my SBS, my small business shout out, is going to be a fitness page actually. I haven't been able to go to any business physically because obviously of the restrictions, but I did started working out again last week, but I only did one workout this week. Unfortunately, I've been busy, and I've been following Bronco Fitness and Performance on Instagram. The Instagram page is Bronco_FB. A guy there, he posts some fitness videos for free, so it's free content there. But I know he also does, as far as I can remember, like meal plans and personal training and stuff like that. So for those of you that are able to spend that little extra money looking for somewhere to go, you can definitely look for his page on Instagram, Bronco_FB. Do not want to butcher his first name, but I believe it is pronounced Rice, or at least Rice Phillips. So you guys can definitely check him out at his page, like I said, Bronco_FB, for your everything fitness related. He also sometimes he does collaborations with other fitness pages as well. So you're able to, check him out. This is for the guys and the girls as well. He posts daily videos. Today was about squatting. There's some of you that, want to get your squats correct. So go and check out the page so, you can see that. But moving along into today's conversation, like I said before, it's about travel and I have Elle. So, but Elle, and to just do a bit just now, I would have just, mentioned you a bit early in the podcast. But is anything you want to add I would have forgotten?
No, Kemar, but before I come in, I just want to play a little my intro song for the listeners. Come to my blessings, yeah. If you bless me, I want to take this away.
But that song actually only came across my platform last week. Actually, was the first time I actually heard the song. Don't judge me, but for some reason I didn't hear the song all Carnival season. I only heard it last week when she had her show. I was like, this song is a nice song. So I added it to my Apple Music playlist and I listened to it. It's a good song. I like Nadia. I just didn't hear the song, but I like it.
Good song. Art Farm 3 really was a good show. I think that Nadia gave a great performance in Art Farm 3.
I didn't get to watch all, but from the beginning, what I saw was a good setup and stuff.
Yes, it was. And she came out blazing. I liked the energy that she gave from the beginning to the end.
But Patrice Roberts is my girl. I love Patsy.
I know that you do love your Patrice, but to me, I would give Nadia the edge over Patrice's show. I'm not saying that it wasn't a good show, but for me, Nadia took the cake. Patrice, yeah, you did well, but she didn't do as good as Nadia.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But yes, we're going to get on to some travel, everything travel related today in the episode. And I am dying to have this conversation with you on here. We have this conversation all the time in terms of your travel. And like I said before, you're a travelholic. You are always around the place majority of the time. If you're not working and you're on vacation, you're on the plane. Thanks to the pandemic, I was able to have you here for the summer. So we did hang out a bit during that time and for the Christmas season. So that's a blessing in disguise. We were able to spend some time together. But otherwise than that, you're on the plane. Vacation time is like, okay, you're out of here.
That's right.
Yeah, but what I want to know is because I know you probably don't have an exact figure because even we had this conversation, sometimes you have to remind you that you went to certain places already. How many countries have you visited though? Like how many? A rough estimate.
I would have to say about 15 countries, Kemar, but I think that I am forgetting some. I believe I'm forgetting some because sometimes even when we are talking, and as you said, you would have to remind me, oh, you didn't go S1E3. I was like, yeah, I went there. So I could think of 15 now that I have visited, both in the Caribbean and internationally. But yeah, I guess during the show, the conversation, I remember some more. I said, okay, yeah, Kimar, we're not at 15 anymore. We're probably at 17, 19. But yeah, I would probably sum it up to 15 right now.
Decent number. Um, and how many times a year do you travel?
2 to 3 times a year, basically 2 to 3 times a year. Easter, mostly summer for sure. Summer is a must do. And recently, I find that the Christmas season, I like to do that overseas. So definitely summer and Christmas period. And when I can, during the Easter time.
It actually was surprising last year having to go shopping for Christmas tree. Well, for you, because you didn't have a Christmas tree. You bought a tree and still didn't get to put it in tree because you didn't get time to put it in the tree. They tell you not to buy the tree, but okay, you bought the tree, you have the tree, and it's there at home in the box.
You did. It is still in the box, Kimar.
You're accustomed to not being here, so you had to get things for Christmas to spend Christmas in Barbados because you usually spend Christmas overseas. So that's something that definitely changed for you in that aspect. So you had to spend summer here. We had to spend Easter first of all last year, summer this year. We started with summer last year as well as Christmas last year. And the way things are going, you're probably going to be here for Easter as well, unfortunately.
I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I get to, to grace the tarmac this year, summer, but, whatever the will of the Lord is, I'm just going with the flow. Hence why I started with Nadia, because even though we're going through this pandemic and I miss traveling, totally miss traveling, I am still thankful and I'm counting my blessings that I am still here.
Definitely have to agree. You're gonna have to find other things to do anymore. Like I told you, you could go on a little staycation. You weren't really keen to that, as far as I can remember. You wanted to be on a plane. I'm happy you made the conscious decision to stay put for now, stay grounded. So when you go overseas, in the coming months, whenever we're able to go back outside, that you have a grand time. But why did you decide to not travel this year, but last year? When did you say, you know what, I don't want to be on a plane, doesn't make sense I go on a plane, doesn't make sense I go and be a tourist and live my travelholic life because an entire pandemic going on? Like, what made you came to that decision?
I was pretty much scared of the unknown and everybody too, in terms of not having sufficient information. Okay, first we have a virus, nobody knows what it is, nobody knows what it can do. So fear of the unknown at first, and then when we pretty much got more information on how it spread, how it mutates, etc., then okay, people putting travel bans, that's one thing, travel bans in place, or quarantine. So to leave my country to go on quarantine in another country for 14 days, some people have 7, so 7 to 14 days for a 3-week vacation. Then I only have 7 days to enjoy myself. I'm not signing up for that. For me, that's waste money that could be invested in something else. So let me just stay home and pine until I could have a proper vacation.
That was exactly my take on the situations, because like it makes no sense leaving your home country, especially to venture into someone else's territory, to then happen to fall ill or anything. So like you're putting your health and wellness in the care of another country's health authorities. You don't know what they have in place. You don't know what's gonna be your priority there in terms of your care and stuff like that. For all they concern, you're not a citizen, so it's like I will not care to take care of you that kind of way as my own fellow countrymen. So why put yourself in that situation? Stay where you are for now.
Right. I also wanted to add that, but you took the words right out of my mouth. Suppose I travel and I catch COVID. I don't know their healthcare system. I don't know if I qualify for it. I don't know. So rather than me going and facing the unknown, let me stay where I know what's gonna happen. What's the procedure? What are the protocols?
Exactly. Especially within the first few months that you said there was quite a lot of uncertainty. And the cases were skyrocketing. We had the wave, especially in the US and stuff like that. And even now, the UK and the European countries aren't really handling this situation well. So it makes no sense hopping on the plane or going somewhere to then possibly catch COVID, and then they have to be on the phone with you, hearing, "Oh, I'm here in I don't know where, but I'm here somewhere," and then I've been waiting for care for the past 48 hours. Just like, okay, and you're not a priority. So it makes sense to stay put and stay safe, because outside it's going to reopen. The pandemic hopefully wouldn't last forever. At some point in time, you're going to be able to hop on the plane again and do so safely, and you'll be able to enjoy yourself. What I was hoping though is that we would at least maintain the CARICOM bubble. We would at least be able to do some international traveling. That would have been good for us. But now everybody just doing their own thing, and cases rising here and there. So it makes no sense going anywhere, not even to our Caribbean brothers and sisters right now. Just stay where you are, in your own country. And some people went on staycations. I know you weren't really a fan of that, and you just decided, you're gonna vibe with friends, you're gonna have spend some friend time, and that was how you would have been handling that for the past few months.
Right, and as you said in the beginning, you were able to spend some time with me, so that's a plus. I was able to spend time with family and friends and see a bit more of Barbados that I would not usually see during especially the summertime. A lot more that I wouldn't see. Yeah, so that was a plus.
Exactly. So it was a good little time home. We always spend Christmas with family. Usually when we travel, your family aren't your travel companions that kind of way. Who are your travel companions? I know a bit. I think I have a bit of knowledge, but let's share with the podcast the usual group of traveling people.
Usually travel with my friends, a group of us. Usually a girls trip. We go do our thing. As I said, it really is a de-stressor. You get away, you do things you like, retail therapy, everybody loves to shop. But apart from that, like to experience different cultures, experience different cuisines, see what else is out there, what else life has to offer, what other places have to offer.
Travel with friends. But which do you prefer? You prefer traveling solo, or you prefer traveling with a group? If you had to pick.
I would probably say um, they both have their pros and cons, but I would have to say I would do family and friends. It adds a lot more excitement and fun, and you build memories with people. Not saying you can't build memories with yourself, but more lasting memories with your friends and your family. So I would have to pick friends and family, definitely.
I haven't been able to travel with my friends as yet. I'm hoping in the near future be able to do that. But so I can't really make a decision on that for myself personally speaking. But I feel I'll enjoy a trip more with my friends than it would with my family. We're a very decent cohort of people. I think it will be interesting.
But okay, Kemar, question for you. When we are able to freely travel, what would be your first trip? Would it be a solo trip? Would it be family? Would it be friends? What would it be?
I'm actually unsure. I feel it probably would be family though. It probably would be family. It probably would, yeah. Because when we're able to, it probably would be family. Because I'm thinking we'll be able to travel pretty soon, so it probably would be family. My friends trip probably be something in the future in terms of like my friends my age.
Okay. But Kimar, when you say friends your age, what are you saying? Is that directed towards somebody person?
I have friends of various ages, and I have friends who are in my 30 adjacent club. And then I have friends who are in my, my 22, 23 friends group, my immediate friends group that are a bit more, on my level in terms of income and things like that. Well, I shouldn't even say in terms of my level because all of them are employed. I'm the last student left in the group, but compared to the 30 adjacent friend group, which obviously has a bit more income coming in compared to the younger folks I hang around with, that kind of way. So speaking about, you guys may be able to travel somewhere exotic, and my younger group might just happen to take a little hop, skip somewhere, nearby, not anywhere too far at the moment.
Understood.
So I'm not referring to my 30 adjacent friend group. I mean, I love both of my friend groups. I love and appreciate the time we spend with both of them. I also have a grand time. I can say that. But what is your most memorable trip to date? Like, what's the trip that stood out the most to you within recent times?
I am not sure, Kimar, how to narrow it down to one.
If you went to New Orleans this year, I felt like New Orleans would probably be your most memorable trip. Because I know you did Vegas last year, but I don't think Vegas probably wouldn't be on your most memorable trip list.
Not last year, 2019.
Oh yes, last year was nowhere. Sorry, I forgot. Last year was nowhere. 2019 was Vegas and the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, that is pretty memorable. So I would probably say Vegas and the Grand Canyon, or that I have to tell you, Kimar, I would have to say Panama as well. So I would tie Vegas and the Grand Canyon, which is in Arizona, with Panama. The two of those would be my most memorable trips. Definitely Vegas. What they say about Vegas and what happens in Vegas definitely stays in Vegas. So I can't share that on the pod, Kimar. I can't share that. But I would say you guys, you need to visit Vegas. It never sleeps. It never sleeps. And I must say, like, for years, Gamer, I have been watching um, Hell's Kitchen. It really is a cooking show with Gordon Ramsay. And I always said, you know what? I am going to go to his restaurant. And I actually went to his restaurant to taste the famous beef Wellington. So Vegas, and I went to Hell's Kitchen. So that, yeah, in itself, plus the Grand Canyon. We and that again, that was a friend's trip. We did the tour to Grand Canyon on the South Rim. We were able to do the Hoover Dam bypass bridge. We even visited the famous Route 66, which is an old, authentic town. Everything is still in place. Classic cars, old hotels, diners. Yeah, that was really good. And the Grand Canyon itself was breathtaking. I cannot, pictures do not do justice to seeing it with in real life. It is very, I don't know, I don't even have a word for it. It's magnificent, Kimar. The Grand Canyon is a must. Bearing in mind too, Kimar, that a deer almost ran us over.
Uh-huh.
Bearing that in mind too, it was just there staring, and it was something else, but that was good. And Panama, because the culture in Panama is nice.
Mm-hmm. Because I definitely want to know about why you chose Panama. Because I'm sure some people like Panama. What about Panama? You could possibly like about Panama. Because I remember you telling me about the trip and you were telling me you had a good time. That was Christmas. You went right a Christmas 2 years ago.
Yeah, Christmas 2 years ago that I went. Panama really wasn't on my list to visit, but after hearing some friends and colleagues who would have visited Panama and saying, okay, it's nice, the culture is nice, food is nice, and shopping is definite. I mean, it beats the USA. It was like, what? Shopping could be cheaper than the US? Okay, let me see. But it wasn't just about shopping when you got there, even though things are very cheap, Kmart, or let me say, affordably priced. Like even something as simple as the metro. The metro is 25 cents for the ride. A taxi for about five people, 4 to 5 persons, was like 5 US, and the distance, I'm gonna put it like here in Barbados. So the distance was like from let me say Bridgetown, like from Bridgetown to Um, Probably, I would say, like the entrance to St. Lawrence Gap, that's $5 for everybody. The food is cheap. Yeah, the food is cheap. The clothes are cheap. Everything is pretty reasonable down there. But the culture is rich too. Getting to see how they do things. For example, we went Christmas time. I mean, it was well lit and everything. We stayed in Panama City. Um, and we were very close to everything transportation. So we had the option of the bus, the metro, or the taxi. Um, but what was interesting on Christmas Eve, we decided that we were going to go to church because that's what they do. They go to church on Christmas Eve and they have a big celebration. So we decided that we're going to go to church on Christmas Eve. And you know what they speak in Panama. You know the language they speak in Panama, right, Kemar?
I actually don't.
They speak Spanish. So um, church was in Spanish, and luckily for us, two of the two of my friends, they actually know Spanish, so it was easy for them to understand. So they were quite comfortable, while the rest of us were like, okay, what's happening? What's he saying? Etc. We didn't stay a long time, but that was a good experience. Persons were selling stuff too all during the Christmas Eve, etc. Even on the road, the vendors are actually in the middle of the road trying to sell you stuff. Even fireworks, persons were trying to sell us on Christmas Eve. So we said, okay, we're going to celebrate Christmas Day. But what is funny to note, Kemar, is that they do all their celebrations on Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Day is really their rest day. So while we were looking now to do our own celebrations, nothing really was open because all these celebrations were done on Christmas Eve. So we pretty much ended up going on a stroll in this park that they usually have, like a walkway, not really a park, but a walkway with a lot of vendors and stuff. So we did that because that's what they do on that day. And I can't even remember what we ate because we were expecting to have a Christmas meal, but their celebrations are done Christmas Eve as opposed to Christmas. Not only about the culture, but the canal, the Panama Canal, to see how it actually opens up to let the ships pass. That's another again is another breathtaking moment. That is something that would forever be etched in my memory schema. That was something I can't even explain it. You have to see it. Uh, yeah, you have to see, feel it for yourself. The ships passing through, the opening, and the work that goes into actually opening up those gates, the water flowing out and filling back in. That's the Mara experience. So I would have to tie the Grand Canyon with Panama. But guys, don't take my word for it. Experience it when you can. So make sure you have these on your travel list. Include visiting the Grand Canyon and make sure you include Panama. May not sound like much, but the culture and what they have to offer is very rich.
It sounds good indeed. I remember you did. We did have a whole rundown about the trip. But not recently. When it first happened after you came back, actually, so they had a conversation about it within recent times. Um, you were telling me about some of your trips recently, and it was just like, you know what, you're gonna save this for the podcast. Let us not get into that, so you can actually hear these things again for the first time. So it's a nice natural conversation. We were having a conversation about trips recently. It was like, you know what, stick a pin. Nope, none of that. We can't have that right now. But you mentioned Panama. You mentioned other trips. Can you see yourself living permanently in any of these places you would have visited as a permanent resident? See yourself actually living, working, you're getting up every day. That is your hometown. Can you see it happening?
Okay, so if I had to choose a place that I would live, I would go to the US. I know people say that's boring. Why go to the US when you can live other places? But for me, when I go to the US, there's one particular place that I must go whenever I go, and that is Fort Lauderdale in Florida. And it reminds me of home. It is not fast paced like New York, it's not busy. Persons are friendly and very helpful. I know how to traverse the area. I feel comfortable taking public transportation, Kemar. Public transportation. I don't even take public transportation here back home, and I feel comfortable yeah, taking public transportation in another country. It reminds me of home, Kimar. So I would have to say for now, I would settle in Fort Lauderdale, in the USA. And I guess too, that might not be something that, let's say you ask me that question next year or the next 2 years, that might not be the same because, as I said, I have some travel trips that are backlogged.
You mentioned transportation earlier and taking public transportation in Fort Lauderdale. So when you go overseas, do you tend to drive or do you take public transportation regardless? Are you a driver? Are you a I gotta, you know, hop on the train or whatever the case may be?
Kemar, I take public transportation each and every time. Public transportation. I am pretty scared of driving overseas. Actually, I am pretty scared of driving. I don't know. I think that I had a little more courage on the last trip. It was like, yeah, I'm gonna drive. Yeah, we're gonna drive. Everybody was pretty much hyped about driving, but I don't know. I just chickened out. So, and for me, I don't want to be rambling, even though you have GPS and Google Maps and stuff. I just find it a lot easier for me to just use the public transportation or even a taxi. Even a taxi. So I pretty much would buy my bus pass and I would go from here to there on the bus. If is a situation where the time for the buses has passed and they're no longer running, whatever's available. If that's a taxi, then I'll get that. But I kind of trust the public transportation as opposed to me driving.
I remember you had mentioned the story about being in the taxi before. And the taxi driver was speaking in, I think, either Spanish or French, one of the other languages. And and he didn't know that the passengers, because you're in your friends group, there are two foreign language speakers, both Spanish and French. And he didn't know the group, had foreign language speakers within the setting because they're Bajan. English speakers, their main language is English, but they also speak French and Spanish.
Yes, Kimar. So let me tell you a little bit. Here's a little summary of that event, how that took place. So we were leaving the hotel and we were trying to catch our bus to go to another state. And we were kind of late. We were kind of under pressure because we don't want to miss the bus. We were late and we wanted him, to kind of put a little more speed on it. And he was driving pretty slow, taking his time. And we were trying to tell him, okay, we have a bus to catch, so you have to speed up. And he was like, okay, he can't go any faster. This is the limit, whatever. He wasn't even at the limit, by the way, Kemar. Just so you know, FYI, he wasn't at the limit. He was taking his time. All right, so somebody called him and he was speaking in Spanish and he was telling them that, pretty much we were confusing him and he called us something. I can't even remember what it was now, Kemar, that he called us. So when he got off the phone call, my foreign language speakers would have put him in his place because you cannot take for granted that one because, we are English speakers that we don't know the language. Well, then, not me because I don't know the language, Kemar. Let me put that disclaimer there.
Yeah. And then black too, so you probably was just like, let me know nothing about the Spanish. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, they may know nothing about the Spanish, so they pretty much squared him out. He was shocked, Kimar. He was so shocked. He could not believe. I think he was shamed too, but we wouldn't be able to see that from the back sitting. But yeah,
But you mentioned this, so yeah, you were late. But are you a itinerary girl? You're a planner down to the T. I also want to definitely speak on that because people are hearing this, but they didn't know you plan all of your trips, everything. You don't use a travel agency. You plan early. So I hope my friends are listening. You just can't get up one day and you said I'm traveling here or there. Your trips are usually planned months in advance, things paid before in advance, things like that. You make sure that things are in order. Um, so speak on that for a bit in terms of your planning process in term for traveling when you're going to a destination, making a trip. How does that process really work so for you in terms of getting things together for your group? How you're the person they look out to, they make the plans and stuff like that, collect the finances and put everything in check.
that's correct. That's correct. So pretty much, Kimar, how I go about it is I decide where I want to go, or we decide collectively where we want to go. Um, And then I would say, okay, all right, let me do some research on the country, etc. So I kind of look for, let's say, for example, let's take the New Orleans trip that I was planning on going to. Let's use that as an example. So we knew that we wanted to go to the French Quarter Festival. So obviously, we know that we would have to stay in that area. New Orleans is pretty pricey when it comes to hotels. So you know you have to book early. The later you book, the more expensive it becomes. Right, right, especially coming on to the festival or coming closer to the date. So the closer to the date, the more expensive. So that's why I try to book early. And just a little tip, guys, I use Booking.com. It's free. Use Booking.com to book all of my Booking.com. Not a small business shout out like what Kemar would have done, but definitely a shout out. I use Booking.com and it's free. It's free. So I usually use that for my hotel. So you could book for a hotel all now for 2024 or 2023, as far down as they go. So I usually book in advance. As some hotels they do require a deposit before, but some do not. So if it does not require a deposit, and those are the ones that I usually book where I could get free cancellation. So you have up to a couple days, or sometimes just the day before to cancel your booking without having to pay a fee. So for me, it's sort of like a safety net because if I had to look back like last year, you booked this hotel, you got all these different things booked, and there was no way for me to cancel for free or whatever, I would have lost my money. So that's why I like that. And sometimes going through with a travel agent, I would have lost my money. I can't get it back. So I try to look for avenues where it's free. That's the first thing. It's free or not costly, um, that I wouldn't lose out in the end. So we would have booked the hotel early in advance. So we usually book in advance, months, as you say, months. We don't wait last minute. We book months in advance. I would have looked to see the different activities in terms of what the area has to offer. So we realized some of the places of interest down there, the Lafayette, the St. Louis cemetery. We wanted to do an e-bike tour. We definitely wanted to do Bourbon Street. So I pretty much do the research to see, okay, when we get there, this is what we're gonna do, and I do it in days. So we have a day for each activity, what it is that we want to do. So you're not bored or you're not scrambling about what to do today. Taken into consideration to when we go to the place, they usually have like their magazines or their brochures about what the place has to offer. We could see how that could incorporate into our own itinerary. And of course, a day for shopping. You must have a day for shopping. So yeah, we book everything down to a T, even to for transportation. Sometimes we may to have a choose a hotel that has transportation to and from the airport, which would cut down on cost. Or sometimes we would choose to get a taxi from the airport to the hotel, whatever is reasonable or within our budgets. That's what we usually do. Or in terms of flights, so which is very important, guys. In terms of flights or even cruises, I book direct. I don't go through the middleman. I pretty much go on so if I know that I am going to, if like, let's say for example, again, I was flying somewhere and here I went through the travel agent, they're going to use American Airlines or JetBlue. I go directly on JetBlue or American Airlines and I compare that price with what the travel agent is telling me to see which one is cheaper. And sometimes too, the airlines offer perks, things that I really don't need necessarily that I don't pay for. So, for example, some people might want first class or business class, or some people might want to choose their seat, which is an extra cost. I don't pay for that. I usually do the low fare, and whatever seat is assigned, I pretty much go with that. Or in some cases, when you get to the check-in, you're able to say, okay, well, we're a group and we're together. And they'll say, okay, we'll try to see how we can possibly put you guys together. And guys, my new favorite airline overseas is Southwest. Reasonable, um, dependable. I just love it. I just love Southwest.
You mentioned the airline, something about that I want to say, but it's not coming to me right now. Something what I wanted to say that I had in my mind just now, but I was listening to you so keenly, taking it all in, and making my little notes so I can pass on to my friends because they need to.
Kemar, I hope I gave you enough information on that because somehow, I think I'm forgetting to tell you.
Yeah, I feel like you're forgetting something else too, but I can't put my mind on it right now because this conversation we have is usually give me, I feel like it's some bit of information that you're forgetting that is also of importance.
Yeah, I feel I'm forgetting to tell you something. Oh, and guys, with booking, usually pay. I forgot to mention this. With booking, when you're booking the hotels, usually pay when you get to the hotel. Or if you make your deposit, you pay the balance when you actually get to the hotel. So you don't have to pay until you reach in most cases, which is fantastic.
Yeah, that is what I wanted to touch on because like lots of people had their that would have traveled and booked hotels and stuff like that. Money was kind of like caught up in like cancellations and stuff like that when the pandemic happened. Or was it charge fees for canceling and things like that? Like the good thing about paying at the hotel when you get there is like you don't have to worry about that cost.
Correct. Kimari, I actually do a spreadsheet of everything to calculate the cost before I actually decide if this trip is worth it or not. So even though I would have went through some of those things, so I put down the hotel cost. I put down if we're gonna have to get the taxi to and from the hotel, that cost is included. All the activities that we are going to engage in, I put the price down so we know, and we decide, okay, is this trip worth it? That hasn't, so you know that you have to budget for this amount because these are the things that we plan to do, and then obviously you're gonna have the excess for food or whatever. Um, Whatever you want. For me, sometimes personally, I like to choose a hotel that has breakfast included, the most important meal of the day. So it helps to start. I don't have to figure out what to eat, what do I have to, sorry, what I'm going to eat or where I'm going to eat this morning, which for me is pretty time consuming. You just come down from your room, you eat your breakfast, and then you're on the roads and you decide where you're going to eat from there. But yeah, I usually try to choose hotels that offer breakfast. I don't know if I'm going to do that now with the whole pandemic, but that was something I used to do.
That's definitely something because they you try to maximize get as much time out of your day as possible. So you tend not to waste time. So you stick to something, you're able to get the full experience. And that's the thing with people that travel, you go to a destination to see certain things, then you find yourself getting up at midday to go on the road. Like the day practically finished, half the day gone already. Like, get going early so you're able to maximize your time.
I'm an early mover. I want to get in as much as I can. I'm an early mover.
Exactly. Yes, you're on a vacation, but it's because if your intention of the trip is to to experience the culture and to go sightseeing and to see places of interest and all those things and to shop, but you need to maximize the time to get up, and when you get up on mornings, it's just a bed, brush your teeth, eat something, all those kind of things. The fast and just out the door. So you come in, it's like you come in late, you get everything done. So if you out the door by 8, 9 o'clock, that's decent time, right? Then you out the door at 1 p.m. in the evening and the afternoon. Like the day practically, gone, half the day is gone. So you really have to get an early start when you travel. But what's something that you can't travel without though? I didn't answer that before. Like something for you that is I need to take this with me. I need to have this with me. It's like my travel companion.
Something that I cannot travel without. Um,
I thought that question was like I don't know it would be for me. I don't know. I think everything is important.
yes, everything is important, but besides my passport, I would have to say, uh, I usually travel with a credit card for emergencies because you do not know what is going to happen, whether it is a Visa debit or um, your normal credit card. And I must have my shopping list, Kemar. I must have a shopping list because I even have a shopping list for persons that I would bring back stuff for, or persons that would say, okay, can you bring back something for me? I just don't want to forget anything. So I have my shopping list. So each time I do something, I would cross off on my shopping list. It's an electronic shopping list, by the way, guys. It doesn't have to be paper pen. It is an electronic shopping list, but I must have my shopping list. It pretty much keeps me on task on the things that I know that I want or persons would have asked me to get for them, or yeah, so that sort of thing. My shopping list and credit card, but everything, as you said, is an essential. Everything is an essential, and that's something I do too. Now that you mentioned that, I actually write a list of the things that I need to pack so that I don't forget anything, Kimar. I write a list of the things that I need to pack so that I don't forget anything. Yep, that's a good tip, guys, because you don't want that when you are on the plane, said, "Oh shoot, I forgot something." So I actually make a list of the things that I need to take on the trip.
So you pack early? Cause like for me, I pack early and then I pack the night before, just a little double packing. But I'll pack early and then the night before just make sure I don't forget anything. Depending if I'm traveling early in the morning, I would practically pack like late at night. I've never really traveled in the afternoon time that kind of. I prefer early morning flights.
Yeah, me too. I pack early mentally, but in reality, I pack the night before and on the day. And on the day, Kimar, on the day. So the night before, I'm scrambling, and on the day, I'm scrambling. But thanks to my list, I don't forget anything.
Could you have a list? But you say I don't have a list, so I probably need to add that to my thing. Because I just, I'm just like, okay, I have to get this, I have to get that. I need to bought this just in case, and this and all the thing, all of those things. And it's just like y'all ladies are lucky you guys have your handbags and all these extra baggages you guys getting up, just pack things in. And it's like for my mother, it's like never enough because when we travel, it's like she packs stuff in her stuff and I still in my stuff too. So it's like if I get a jump on packing early, it's like I'm technically kind of full already, so I can't hold your stuff. So if I pack late now, that gives her time to put things in my suitcase and in my carry on that she doesn't need,
I get you.
but she thinks that she needs.
I get you, Kimar. I get you.
So I just try to pack as early as possible and get that. OTDB wants to know that I'm taking a trip. But have you had any bad experiences? Any like really scary moments traveling? Like, well, not traveling, but while you're overseas, anybody robbed you? Anybody stick you up?
No, I wouldn't say that I had any scary. No, I've never had any of those stick ups, Kimar. No, no, no. I guess the scariest thing I would probably say is almost being left at the airport or almost being left by the cruise ship. That's about it because I don't know how I would function in unknown territory if the plane or especially a ship going on a cruise and being left behind at the door. I don't know how I would function, which almost happened once. Um, Shopping was the cause of that. And we were trying to time ourselves, but we didn't time it good enough that we barely got to the dock. I mean, within less than a minute to spare. If not, we would have been left there. And I don't know how it would have functioned. I don't know.
You would have been left where this is the cruise we took the cruise that went to Mexico and Puerto Rico and stuff like that. This is that cruise.
No, this is not Mexico and Puerto Rico. This is a cruise that went to Puerto Rico. Actually, this is a cruise from Barbados, the Carnival Fascination.
Oh, okay. Because I know you did the one from Fort Lauderdale, the Royal Caribbean one that goes to Bahamas.
Yeah, the Royal Caribbean one. That was a pretty nice trip too, Bahamas and Mexico. So that was a nice trip as well. But this was Puerto Rico, Kemar. This was in Puerto Rico. I don't know what I would have done.
But you had two Spanish speakers, so you guys would have survived.
True, we would have survived. So
You would go to the airport and take a flight to make the ship.
true, but nothing really scary. Nothing at all. I would have told you, Kemar. I would have told you, Kemar. Come on. I would have told you.
Yeah, I don't think I had anything scary happen to me on the trip either. I don't think. What was your worst experience? Like your worst trip ever? You went and it was just horribly wrong. If you're going to get back your money right now, you're going to get it back right now. It was just the worst trip you ever took in your entire lifetime. What was that?
Kemar, let me tell you about this trip. This was really early. One of my first couple of trips. I think it was actually my third trip. It was my third trip to the Caribbean. Let me say my third trip to the Caribbean. And it was my first time in Trinidad, Kemar. And I was all excited because I heard so many good things about Trinidad and I was ready to experience Trinidad. And I left. I think this is one of the reasons too that I plan the itinerary and I, pretty much get a hand on yes, yeah. I think this is one of the reasons. Because I left it in the hands of one of my friends, Kemar. And according to them, was everything was legit. Yes, this is going to be good. The place we're going to be staying is a nice place. Um, And it was like, okay, all right, because I trust the person, Kemar. All right, it can't be that bad. You've been before. You said the place is nice. The place that we're going to be staying is nice. The country is nice. Okay, I'm ready to experience it. I remember it, Kemar, like it was yesterday because I talk about it sometimes too when I talk about trips with people. So I landed in Trinidad. I remember I'm all excited because it's my first time, etc. And we're driving and we pull up to this place. And when we pull up to this place, the downstairs of the place, because this is all I could see at the time, the downstairs of the place is like a ram shop. So this can't be it. The taxi driver is going to somebody, he's making a stop.
I am dying.
Kim, why you're laughing? But this is not funny.
Because you know you had to be very pissed off because now you're a woman of a particular taste, a particular style, and that's not somewhere you would stay at. But I'm listening.
So I am thinking now, okay, so the driver is stopping to talk to somebody or ask for directions because this can't be it. So he got out the vehicle and my friend is getting out too. So and my other friend is getting out too, so it's like, wait, what's happening here? Then they obviously, going here to buy a drink or something. No, because I am still convinced that either the driver going to buy a drink or he knows somebody there. They're going to buy a drink. They asked me if I'm not getting out. I'm like, and I was like, yes, we're here. Kira is laughing. It's like, we're here. This is it. It's like, Kimar, I was livid, Kimar. So this is my first time I'm with them. I don't have any place else to go. They booked the place and everything, and here we are walking through this bar slash rum shop. This bar slash rum shop, going up these stairs to the accommodation. Let's call it accommodation here. So when we got up the stairs and stuff, because oh no, I am so annoyed. I am angry. I am ready to cry, Kimar. And we got up to the top of the stairs, and the gentleman at the time, he was really pleasant though, I must give him that. He was very pleasant. He said, okay, so these are the rooms,
I am dying because I can imagine your face right now.
and gave us these keys, Kimber. I know you're laughing, but I'm so serious. Kimber, really, man. Kimber, when he gave us the keys and showed us the rooms, the keys were to padlocks, Kimber. Two padlocks, Kimar. And when I opened the room, I could not believe this is where I was going to be staying. And thank God it was a weekend trip. This is where I am going to be staying for the next 3 days. Kimar, I cried so bad. That whole night I cried. They tried to console me. I called back home talking to my family. I tell them, listen, I need to get the first flight out. I want to come home tomorrow morning. They said it's only 3 days. Just settle yourself. Try to enjoy it for what it is. But enjoy what? I wouldn't have been comfortable there, Kimar. That was my worst. My worst. And I think it was after that trip that I actually started to do, like, make the plans and everything and the accommodation because for me, it was like, are you serious, Kimar? When I told you, I cried the whole night.
But was it padlock? Is the padlock part of the part of the style of the place? Because I remember a time a few years ago I did an Airbnb for my birthday, and this place had looked really lovely on the pictures and everything, all of that. And the door was a padlock and chain. And I thought you might laugh because I was so upset about that. The place was the only thing that was able to console me with that was that the inside was the decent place. I was and it was in fact what was on the pictures, but the owner did not have the door. That the door was a padlock and chain. So after I checked on everything, I wrote a very lovely review because I was very disturbed to know that this is where I had a lot my lot to use to use a lot the premises when I'm leaving or coming back or when I'm going to sleep. It was very. It was like, was this padlock and like it's not anything I'm accustomed to.
So you could imagine me. I mean, I cried. I cried. I cried. I cried. I cried, Kimar, the entire night. I mean, I was so happy to see sunshine, just to be out and about and not to be there. But then the thought of actually when they say, we're going back home, for me, home, that's not home. That's not home. So, Kimar, that is my worst travel experience.
But I hope you at least enjoyed Trinidad. It's a nice place to visit. I hope you had a good time. Otherwise, than your accommodation.
Yeah, otherwise, in my accommodation, it was okay, but I mean, that really took away from the experience that I wanted to have.
I get you, but I know that they just had the whole carnival season. The Trinis are mourning.
Yes, they are.
They wasn't able to have any carnival. I don't think we have any crop over this year either. So I guess we could start mourning from now, the crop over babies.
No, I don't think so. I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see it happening either. That is unfortunate, but definitely don't see it happening right now. But in terms of your bucket list, like, are there any? Because I know you have the Euro trip plan. That is 20. That was something you were talking about for the past few years in terms of, yes, you have that planned. You can share that with us also. But I mean, I personally know about it because I think it's very exciting. Um, and that was something you had planned for the future. But other than that, are there any other trips that you're like, okay,
Yes, Kimar. Actually, my bucket list was for this year, 2021.
yes, 2021 was your year.
Yes, with the Euro trip.
Yeah, you're definitely not going to Europe this year. You'll be here spending your summer in Barbados.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. So that is something that I really was looking forward to because it has been in the motion for, as you said, quite a couple of years, about 3 years. We were planning it, and the group was actually going to be a bigger group than what we usually travel. Well, usually my travel buddies, the group would have been much bigger. Everybody's quite disappointed about that because we were looking forward to seeing a lot of places. I mean, Kimar, the experiences on this Euro trip, and you know I have been talking about this Euro trip for a long time. I mean, we were going to Amsterdam, we were going to Berlin, Prague, Vienna, Barcelona, uh, Paris. Kimar, I don't know. I still have not recovered from that. That's not going to happen. Still have not have recovered from that. Other trips on the bucket list, I would have to say would be the Maldives. That's definitely some place that I want to travel. I need to go to Santorini, Greece, and definitely Dubai. Definitely Dubai. Kimar, I am looking forward to riding that camel and also going on an ATV in the desert. So yes, when I send you back my snaps on the camel and I'm wearing my turban, etc., you would know what time it is. Yeah.
I would definitely know. I would definitely know that you were outside. So, you know, there are lots of things you want to do post COVID. So I'm hoping for you and the other travelholics out there, you guys are able to definitely hop on flights as soon as possible because you guys haven't been dealing well. And so that's what I also want to talk about. How have you been coping? We did mention before you've been spending time with friends, but you would have mentioned you were taking virtual trips. I remember in the summer you weren't doing well at all because it was really hard for you during that initial stage and realizing, no, I'm not. When the reality hit you that time, was like, I'm really not traveling this year. I'm really not here checking in about to get on the plane. I'm really not doing this activity at this time. Like, and you forgot to turn off Google Reminders. So it was like reminding you, and you was like, wait, at this time it should have been an XYZ, and it was like, oh, poor soul. So you know it would have been hard for you.
Yeah, I really wasn't doing well in the initial stages. I really wasn't. I was a bit depressed, withdrawn sometimes when I see all the cancellations coming in or when I have to click cancel. It was a bit hard for me.
A heartbreak.
My heart was ripped out, Kemar. You do not know. You cannot feel that. That was hard for me, but spending time with family and friends was actually, I'm not saying that it replaced that, but it was good to actually spend time with like some of my friends and family during the summer and do things that I would not normally do here. So I was able, as I said earlier, in the conversation, have to remember it's a conversation, that it allowed me to be with them. I'm not usually here in the summer, so I was able to do that. and Christmas time too. And Christmas is all about family and friends, and I was able to do that. So I am thankful for that. So COVID did allow me to reflect a little bit on some of the things that I would have been missing out on. So I am thankful for that, to be quite honest.
See, so family and friends were still able to assist in some way.
Yes, yes.
You were still able to play a part in helping you cope throughout that little period of time, and you were able to do some things around across the island too. But you usually do things. Generally speaking, here in Barbados, there wasn't much for you to do that kind of way. We never experienced before. We did have some plans for this month and last month, but
Those plans now belong to COVID.
yes, those plans clearly. So I don't know when we're gonna get to those plans. Unfortunately, I really don't know when we're gonna get to them.
In time, in time. I actually had to cancel my Easter plans again this year. I was trying again for the New Orleans, the festival again. I was trying for that, the French Quarter Festival. So that trip has been canceled again. And also, they too had to postpone the festival, and it's now rescheduled until October. So yeah.
And then that you're mentioning New Orleans again, it's actually not coming to me that CBS canceled and say yes, New Orleans, and I'm sad about that. I'm really sad about that. Just a little side note. You mentioned New Orleans and just it hit me again now, like, oh my gosh, Kim, I'm not gonna see that series on TV anymore. But I'm sad about that. So I'm sure my fellow listeners that like and say yes, New Orleans. I'm not sure if you watch, but if you don't watch it, you should watch it though. It's actually based in New Orleans, so they get a lot of the real scenery and the crime scenes are actually some of them are pretty much linked to the culture. So it means the same the whole voodoo thing and the whole you get the whole French Quarter experience through the series. So it's not a bad watch. It's a pretty good show. So unfortunately it's coming to an end, but all good things must come to an end. But it's a decent show. I was able to get a glimpse of New Orleans too during the Amazing Race. Like I remember I was telling you about that. And you were told me that you were looking forward to eating the can't remember what it's called right now.
Beignet.
Yes, the beignet. That looked really nice. It had looked nice. Then I had to eat all of those beignets. I know I couldn't eat all of those by myself. Probably one. That is a good show too, guys. If you want to see some places from the comfort of your home, you can definitely watch The Amazing Race. That's a nice show. You get a little, you get a nice little sneak peek of places.
Yes, I second that. You're forgetting to tell them that they actually came to the Caribbean in this particular season.
Yes, I was just want to mention that they came to Trinidad. They started in Trinidad. Well, in Hollywood, then to Trinidad was the first lap. That was like so. They actually came to Trinidad and they went to Tobago also. So it was a good first episode. So you guys can definitely check out The Amazing Race.
It really was good. It really was good. So, Kimar, I have a question for you because I know a lot has been focused on me and tips, etc. But for you, what are you looking forward to when I know you mentioned earlier that you would travel with family, but is there any specific place that you would want to go as soon as we can safely?
I actually haven't planned that far ahead. I haven't. There was some place I had in my little save thing on Instagram that I saw, but it's definitely gonna be. Oh, if I can, like I said, my occupation is broke student, but minus the broke student, there was a place in Italy that I saw that I really wanted to check out. If my occupation was a broke student, let me just reiterate that. But
Do you care to mention that?
I can't recall its name, that's the honest truth. But I came across it on more than one occasion. But because my mind and know my occupation is broad student, I didn't really register it that well. But I have it saved somewhere in my phone. So I know the day comes that I can't afford to go.
Like you could add that to your bucket list. You could put that on your bucket list.
Yes, I would. I would definitely make a note of that. But I have it in my phone. It's definitely in my phone. I just can't find it currently right now. But if I do dig, I know I'll find it because I for sure have it saved. Because I saw it more than one occasion. I saw it, and each time I see it, the views are just breathtaking each and every time. I'm just like have to go here. But definitely within the region though, it will have to be Jamaica. I definitely want to check out Jamaica. I'm afraid of the streets, but I want to go to Ochos Rios and Montego Bay, and experience the culture. Down there. That's not proper Jamaican accent. That is really horrible.
Actually, now that you're mentioning that, I remember for 2020, we were actually looking to go on a cruise that was going to go to Jamaica. I can't even remember the name of the cruise line now, but it was going to Jamaica for sure. It was going to Cayman. I can't remember the other places, but I said that would have been nice. But I can't remember the name of the cruise ship now. Now that you mentioned Jamaica.
Yeah, that's somewhere that I would like to within the region that I wouldn't mind taking a flight to as soon as possible that I can. It's a nice based on what I see. It looks like a nice little spot to go and experience. And they actually have lots of things to do. Like when I stumble across Quite Perry's page, because I don't follow him on Instagram, I don't really follow the blog that kind of way. But if I stumble across his page, I might explore.
Oh, you don't follow Patricia?
Like I don't if I see the videos, I will watch them, but I don't go to watch them. I just it's I just don't like
Mm, okay.
it isn't. It's not a thing for me. That kind of way. Originally, the videos were funny. I don't know how they are now. We know when he first started, the videos were funny, but I think now he mostly focuses on his blog, his YouTube channel,
Yes, he does. He does. That's his focus now mostly.
and like I watched his last video because I wanted to see what car he bought. He bought a. I don't want to spoil it for his Quite Prairie fans, but spoiler alert: he bought a 2021 Kia Seltos. So yeah, so that's all I wanted to see what car he bought and the process he went through, and that was all of it. But I don't watch videos that kind of way. But I will, if I come across his Instagram page, I would see posts like places he went to, and I would like, okay, this looks nice. And I even had a friend that studies in Jamaica, studies at Mona, and sometimes when they go on field, they have like holidays and stuff, and they leave campus to go, like activities. They go to some nice places. I'm just like, okay, very nice. It has some reasonably prices students are going. So definitely something I want to check out in the near future.
Well, you see, you have that to put on your bucket list.
But I don't want to walk the road because I don't want to walk the streets like a tourist though. Because I'm not trying to get robbed.
You get robbed. Kemar thought you were a gangster.
But the thing is that when I was at BCC, you usually will go in your second year, and sociology students will go with the geography students when they're going to Jamaica. But the lecturer that usually took us, the sociology lecturer usually took us, she unfortunately fell ill and then later died.
Oh dear, sad.
So we weren't able to have that experience. But usually she would give the second year students an opportunity to go with the second year geography students to Jamaica for their trip. So that was something that I missed out on during my days at BCC, because I'm sure we probably would have had some sort of fun.
Understand, yeah. So you could definitely add that too to your bucket list. So you have your place in Italy and you have Jamaica. So too, Kemar, you're building your list. You're building your list.
I keep it in the region right now because the ones I can remember off the top of my head, because the places that I see often. I know Grenada was one.
Grenada is nice. Yeah, Grenada is a nice place. Quiet. It's very quiet. For me, it wasn't much to do, but it's quiet if you want a restful, relaxing time. Grenada is nice.
Yeah, that's the thing. To me, planning trips, you need to know what you're going to do. If your thing for vacationing is to just go and stay in the hotel and relax, then that is probably a situation where I want to do an all-inclusive hotel where you don't have to leave to get food and everything is just there. But if I'm going for a trip to go around the place, I'm not paying for the all-inclusive hotel because I'm not there during the day. I'm going everywhere else. It doesn't make sense, exactly.
Yes, it doesn't make sense, and that's something that you need to take into consideration when you're booking to what amenities do you want? Do you want all inclusive? What are you looking for? Do you want a resort? What do you want? So,
Exactly. Like if you know that you have no time to go in the pool, why pay extra for a hotel with a pool? Just go with somewhere that just is nice but doesn't have a pool. So you have to prioritize where you're looking to spend and what makes sense. Because it really doesn't make sense if you know you have it. But those are just some of the few things that I can remember off the top of my head. But I'm sure as we have these conversations, personally, in the near future, we would probably discuss some more. Usually we discuss these things and other things, usually on our Wednesday special, but saying that we're under lockdown, we don't have any Wednesday anymore.
no, wait.
Unfortunately, I think actually having some sort of withdrawal symptoms. I'm having withdrawal, I can't have any wings.
Kemar is having withdrawal symptoms.
I wanted tacos last to early this week. First lockdown did not impact me that much. That's the thing. The first lockdown was like, okay, I'm fine. Like, I'm happy I'm inside because I'm not really be outside. I can live. I'm like, I'm just like, yeah, I'm inside. And I was just enjoying time. And then, like, we went back to some state of normalcy. Then it's like a lockdown. After being able to enjoy things that you didn't get to enjoy for a long time. So now I feel like, oh my gosh, build a new routine and it's doing things with friends and safely doing these things. And now,
Safely, yes. Still following the protocols, guys.
I understand we have the lockdown, but like, I just feel like I can complain, but I understand why we need it right now. But which is like,
Yes, yes, we understand the importance of it. Yeah, just want to shout out the Wing Wednesday family right now. Hi, guys.
and the rum sour crew. Even I can live with a rum sour right now. I can't like honestly. I thought about it yesterday or Wednesday. It was like really not having some wings and the rum sour. Like, is that not happening right now in my life?
No, Kemar, we aren't. We aren't.
And the way things going, I think we're going back up, say probably till March, April. Because I know even if lockdown is lifted, we're gonna probably still have curfew. And if restaurants do reopen, it's probably gonna just be for takeout. Yeah, so I don't think there'll be any in dining for now. But I can't wait. Hopefully, we're outside again by summer. Fingers crossed. Like same situation as last year, we were outside, but in June, July, we were outside once more. So hopefully, it's the same.
Yes, hopefully I'm able to travel safely in the summer. Fingers crossed.
You will be right here. Talking about traveling though, you just mentioned traveling. Um, Vaccines. How would you feel if airlines had to make vaccines mandatory? Is that a thing for you?
Kumar, I was thinking about it in the earlier stages when most of the airlines said that that is something that they may be looking to implement. And I was thinking, interesting. For me, it really is a personal decision right now, obviously, because Barbados has not made it mandatory for persons to have the vaccine. And since it is up to me now to decide whether or not I want it, presently I would say, okay, well, if the airlines decide that they're going to make it mandatory, I guess I'm going to stay grounded and I will be doing a lot of staycations. I will have to, pretty much look at doing that.
That's the thing. That's makes me think about the vaccination thing and all that because like there are some people that generally aren't ready to take the vaccine because of genuine reasons. Then there's some that are just doing it, just saying so because of the stupidity. And just being like the things that they're saying is like, do honestly can you honestly hear yourself right now? It makes no sense. And it's really casting a negative effect on the ones that are generally just not ready to take the vaccine but are willing to, follow protocols and do what they have to do.
Yes, and that's it, and that's it. Yeah, because there's some persons who don't have a problem taking it, but you're just not ready. You're just not ready. You want to do it in your own time. You need a little more time. To think through things, etc. But yeah,
And then there's some people that just don't want to take it because they hear you don't grow horn in your head next week and all these conspiracies that are going on in the place and that aren't based on the research. So you do your own research and do some credible research. Like
yeah. Do research from credible sources so you can make a more informed decision. Yes, a more informed decision. Correct.
because your health is your priority. So if you understand who is okay, well this vaccine isn't for me because of XYZ, then you stay put and you make sure you do things to protect yourself and those around you for the time being. But then the people that don't want to take the vaccine, they're not following the protocols. So you just want people here spreading COVID. So that's the thing that's upsetting me because there's some people that genuinely have reasons they can't take the vaccine right now. And I think I don't want to take it right now. There's some that are just being fools. But that's a conversation for another day. But I just want to get that off my chest because it's been upsetting me all week.
Yeah, that's all right, Kumar. That's right, Kumar.
But otherwise than that, we finished a little conversation about travel.
I just want to add something here, though, Kimar, before I go or before you dismiss me. Um, like when it comes to when it comes to some of the things or the lessons that I would have learned or what traveling has taught me, one for sure is that memories never fade and to value experiences, and that is something that I have definitely traveling has taught me for sure, as I mentioned before, always be prepared and definitely expect the unexpected. Remember my Trinidad episode. Definitely expect the unexpected because things don't always go according to plan. And another thing that I want to mention is that to try new things and pretty much get out of your comfort zone because you may learn things about yourself. Like for me, I realize that I do not like roller coasters or fancy rides, Kemar. I do not. I do not like roller coasters or fancy rides. So that's something I learned too. So get out of your comfort zone and try new things So you pretty much know what your likes and dislikes are. I like simulations though because I know that the ride isn't taking me anywhere. I'm just sitting there and pretending, but I don't like roller coasters. And cuisines, don't be afraid to try new cuisines. You don't know what you might like.
That's especially for me because I'm the person that kind of like, is sticking to what you know about and not anything too far out there because I just don't want it to not, I may not like it. So I try to tend to stick to things that I know about or I've heard about that, So I definitely need to take that advice and try new foods.
Yeah, try new foods, Kemar. You don't know what you will like.
Definitely need to listen to that advice. But it was a good conversation. I enjoyed having you on for the podcast. I hope that, everyone was taking some notes on the do's and don'ts and little tips and tricks and, to ensure you guys have a enjoyable vacation wherever you go. And the key thing is to plan early, plan ahead, make sure that, not spontaneous trips are fun, but if you're looking to plan a group trip or whatever the case may be, even solo trips, ensure that you plan early, prepare. I definitely want to thank you, Elle, for joining me for today's episode. I really had a good time chatting with you as usual, personally and on the podcast.
Thank you so much, Kemar, for having me.
Although you did not mention your upcoming travel blog, but I will make sure to put a little, to put a little something for you now quickly.
Yes, guys, I have a travel blog which should be coming up with a lot of content that you guys could check me out. I'm sure that Kemar will shout me out with his when he's doing his small business shout outs. I guess he would have a shout out for persons who are bringing content to on the scene. So you guys can look out for that. So yes, I'm going to have a travel blog, and probably then you'll be able to see some of the places that I have traveled to and get some more tips and tricks.
Exactly. So you guys can look out for that. But like she said, I'll definitely keep you guys posted when travel blog launches because I've been trying to get her, to get that content out there. She has lots of things that she needs to work on in terms of sorting the photos and things that she wants to put out there on the blog. Like how Rihanna had her book, and that book took a long time to, to put everything together. You take so many pictures when you're going travel and so many experiences. You just want to pick those nice shots that really speak of the moment. So she definitely is going to work on that. I'm definitely going to keep you guys posted when the blog is out there on Instagram, and so you guys can follow. And remember also to follow Bronco Fitness and Performance on Instagram. Like I said, the Instagram page is Bronco_FP for all the fitness stuff like that. I don't know the guy personally, but I do, like I said, I do use the page, and I find that is helpful along with the other workouts that I do when I'm able to work out. Like I said before, I haven't worked out this week, but let's not judge. So if you guys are looking to stay fit during the lockdown, which I know probably isn't ending anytime soon, you can look for him. I also follow Candid Conversations with Kemar on Instagram. The handle is Candid Conversations with Kemar. So just look for us on Instagram and tap the follow button so you can stay up to date with all the lovely things we have on the page. You can also see the other small businesses that were shouted out in previous episodes. And you can also check out some information regarding the previous guests. So that is all the time we have today. It was an interesting conversation, although it was remote. I really wanted to do the in-person recording, but lockdown is not letting us be great. I know that once I have my friends in the room with me recording, we're going to have a grand time. And unfortunately, we've been limited to having this remote recording setting for now. And it's been good, but it's also been challenging. But nevertheless, I make sure I'm here every 2 weeks to give you guys an episode, and I hope you guys enjoy it as usual. Once again, thank you. I want to thank Elle once more for coming on the podcast, and you never know.
Thank you, Kemar.
You might hear her on here again in the near future. So if you enjoy this podcast, just drop a little comment. Let us know your thoughts, your feelings, and definitely stay tuned for more to come with the podcast. Thanks for listening, guys.
This episode was produced by Taken for Granted Productions.